Welcome to Metal Wani. With us today we have the Italian magician Alex Staropoli of Rhapsody of Fire. How are you doing, Alex?
I'm doing great, thank you.
And the new album Into the Legend is just a few days away from the release. And what is the excitement level in the band, keeping in mind that fans have been eagerly waiting to for this album?
Well, it's been 2 years of hard work,
Hmm.
and it sounds really cool. It's the moment of the release is always exciting. And for Into the Legend, we are really excited, as you said. So we know we have a great album in our hands,
Hmm.
and we want everyone to listen. I'm proud to say that.
That's amazing, and we had the music video also coming out, which was actually the first single itself, the title track, Into the Legend. Now, for you guys, when you release the first single, it's always something like which can make or break an album. Like if fans love it, they'll be like, they'll be super happy for that. So how's been
Yeah.
the response from them in terms of the single Into the Legend?
Well, at first we played this song opening for Scorpions in
Mm-hmm.
Italy. We did two shows, one in Rome, one in Trieste, and we decided to play this song live. Actually, it's something we never did before, to play a song that is not released yet.
Released yet,
We
yeah.
never wanted to do such thing, but we wanted to do it. And on stage, the energy and the song was really cool. And the people the next day or the same evening they were talking about that. And when the video was released,
Mm-hmm.
buzz was even stronger. And we are very happy. The response was really positive. And now that we released some snippets and some other songs
Right.
Paul is talking about, and the excitement is growing.
That's amazing because over the years, I mean, you guys have given us legendary tales. You guys have composed symphonies of amazing lands, and to this day, you guys are, let's say, the masters of bringing the listeners, a great power metal album. So after so many albums, does it get difficult to live up to the expectations of the classic Rhapsody albums?
Yeah, well, I have high expectation from myself. You know what I mean.
Hmm.
I expect myself to do the best job I can. And for Into the Legend, actually, I started with some ideas like which instrument to use, which studio to use, and
Hmm.
what kind of choir, choosing the musicians. All this process, it seems like an organization process.
Right,
In the reality, it's the most important process because this stimulates my creativity.
right.
So knowing that I can use the orchestra, that I have some different choirs, some baroque ensemble, and that I wanted to bring all the elements typical of Rhapsody of Fire, typical for the people call film score metal, and I really wanted to have an album full of elements that makes the band happy and the
Mhm.
fans happy.
Absolutely, because I was about to ask you that question that you have definitely decided to basically stay true to the Rhapsody traditional Rhapsody roots. And this is the feeling which fan, I as a fan get with the level of excitement and also the unpredictable nature of the songs as well. So for you, how important basically is it to remain, focused and true to your Rhapsody roots?
Well, it's important after Dark Winds of Steel, which I want to underline. It's the album I wanted to do and the album I wanted to release in that particular period of time.
Hmm.
And I'm really proud of it and I really love it. But after Dark Winds of Steel, I felt the need to do something more orchestral.
Okay.
So it's not just about deciding what you want to do. It's also about the feeling, the inspiration, and it's a lot of emotion are involved as well. It's not
Right.
just about deciding what to do and why. And I really wanted to do Into the Legend the way it is, and because love and passion for music, first of all.
Absolutely, I totally understand. And also one more thing, Alex, is that since this was, I can easily say it is the most ambitious project when we talk about Into the Legend, and then you have classic Rhapsody albums as well. So you spent so many, like you said, 2 years. You I think went to 4 different studios to compose and arrange this album. What were the challenges you faced primarily in terms of fans loving the classic Rhapsody albums and expecting that will this top the classic ones, or will it be very close to the classic ones?
Well, I when I start composing, I don't ask myself too many questions, and I do what I love, and of course, I like to collaborate with also my brother and Robbie De Micheli. So when he's delivering guitars, I want to work with this part, So it's something is unpredictable, because.
Right.
I don't compose for guitars. I don't create guitar riffs. I did a few for Dan Quinson still, but I really asked Robbie to bring some stuff, So sometimes on the table you don't know what is coming, So it's always a mixture of things. I think this is the beauty of it,
Absolutely.
Still, I have my list with the Baroque ensemble, preparing the scores and listening to some pieces of music I did, and then Robbie's coming with the guitar, so I have to close this and open another session, work on
Right.
it. So it's always and this process of composing and recording was really particular because I was never tired, I was always excited, and also during the recordings I had so many ideas. Also during the mix I was calling musician in to fit some part, to play some other parts. So it was like it may sound like a chaotic process, but it was not. Everything happened at the right time, all the time.
That's cool.
And this is the result, we got.
That's awesome because, like you're talking about Roberto's guitar work. I can basically take Winter's Rain as a very cool example that the riffs on it are so memorable. It's like there's that unexpected mid tempo, but is heavy as hell when it comes to the emotional levels of writing. So when you and Roberto sat and considered the riffs, what aspects were taken? Like, hey, yeah, this should sound really good, or some riffs which, let's say, you said maybe it may not work.
Yes, this is the for me this is fun because when I have to create something from zero, it always demands a lot of energy. Despite the inspiration, it can be high and you have a lot of idea, but this is starting from zero is always a challenge. But when you have a guitar player and he came with 10 guitar riffs, and some I knew already, some I knew already, but he changed them. So when I heard there was a particular riff, it was the one of I tell you which song it was. It's Winter's Rain. Actually.
Winter's Rain.
Yeah, I had just a few seconds of this riff. It was just the idea. Then I started to copy, to copy paste it, and to arrange stuff on top. And then in the end, I used this little guitar parts to build some important part for the song,
Right.
And when I told Robbie, hey, you have to play much more of that, you have to play this and that. It's things that you cannot control, that you cannot decide before, So
Absolutely.
sometimes he brought me some guitar riff with some rhythm and stuff, and everything. When he played to me, I already imagined what to do immediately the first time.
Right.
So I said, okay, this is the thing I want. I want it, give it to me. And then I started working and adding orchestras on top and stuff,
Wow, that's really cool. And even your solos as well, I mean, they are phenomenal. You are the captain of the ship, as I wish to call you. And when we talk about solos, I was just excited to hear whether did you try some new keyboard patches on this albums, which might have made you sound more organic, more realistic.
Yes, and actually, I don't consider myself as a great keyboard player. I'm a composer and arranger, and of course I play keyboards. And I always didn't care so much about the keyboard sound, But after I getting involved also in the technical aspect of the production, and using softwares and plugins and libraries, at the end now, I really take care about every note, every sound, every little detail, and this makes me happier, of course. It's a lot of work.
Absolutely, it is. Even with you and Roberto justifying the songwriting, the instrumental section, there's Fabio, who is always epic. Now, be
Yeah.
it the first track, be it I call it as the epic kiss of life. I mean, all of them, there's a magic in it, which Fabio's vocals basically deliver. So,
Yeah.
did you guys set together to figure out what is the lyrical concept this time and how the vocal lines and layers will be arranged?
Well, for the Into the Legend, I was luckily I was able to send a demo version of the songs, the entire album actually, to Fabio a few months before he came to the studio. Usually this never happened. He was coming to the studio and he never heard one single note. And because we were always late, and it's a typical Italian way of doing things, but now I really wanted to work different with him and to please his working process, so I sent him all the album, the entire album, in a demo version a few months before, so he had the time to listen to the songs. Of course, I have created the vocal melodies because it's something I have to do since I compose songs. I feel responsible for that as well. And so he listened to the songs, the melodies, and he started writing lyrics according to that. So he was inspired from the music. And I have to tell you something. Fabio is like it's a person that when he listens an album that people consider an opera for lifetime, he says, it's okay. It's a
okay.
Nice
Right.
And it's something you that you want to listen forever. So when he said about Into the Legend, it's a very cool album. It's okay. This was a very, very good sign from me. He's always judgmental, but with himself as well. So he started to sing the songs, and 9 days, even singing like 2, 3, 4 hours per day.
Right.
In 9 days, the entire album was done.
Wow, that's
We
almost
both
like 40 hours of work.
Yeah, it was just amazing. We were just meeting in the afternoon and singing, and before dinner we were done.
Wow.
So it was really, really, really cool. And the concept is that there is no concept actually. So the important part for me is that Fabio is able to find his own words, and now he's experience with Rhapsody of Fire is almost 20 years.
Yeah.
So he knows what I like, what the Rhapsody of Fire needs. So Fabio has this poetical Italian lyrical approach. And when he sings, and I find these elements also in the words he writes. So it's a nice fantasy approach. I like the words he writes. It may be more simple, and this is also for me it's a plus because on stage it's much more easier to sing, and he can interpret it much more. He can sing higher notes and stuff. So in the end, it's really he can become a better singer if the lyrics are fit with the tempo and the melodies and stuff.
True, absolutely. And I'm just wondering, because listening to these tracks, I kind of feel that it's you feel like giving a homage. There's the respect given to, let's say, Symphony of Enchanted Lands, or maybe Dawn of Victory, or even Power of the Dragon Flame. Do you feel the same, that these tracks carry the respect and the fire which the tracks on those classic albums had?
Yes, but it's the people saying that, because I never thought for even one moment to do, hey, let's do something like Dawn of Victory, let's do something like, no, because in the end it's elements that we always used, that we always had. It's part of our music. But I have to say something that, for example, an album like Dark Winds of Steel features songs which are mainly in the minor key, so they are struggling, they are dramatic, they are, more dark, And Into the Legend, I forced myself to use some major keys, and immediately, you create songs and choruses that remembers the past, because in the past we were using a lot of this major keys, so the music is more happy, more positive automatically,
Absolutely.
So probably this is one of the elements that people don't realize technically, but they realize there's something in common, and this is one of the things for sure.
Cool, that's amazing. And Alex, what about touring? I mean, is there anything planned to take this album on road to Europe, to States?
Yes, we are working on some dates, and a tour in April should happen in April. And we have Asia, as you know, and we have Japan, now we are adding some more dates.
Right.
We have 70 tons of metal, plus a show in Mexico City with Hammerfall and Stratovarius. So slowly we are collecting some,
That's cool.
some shows. And yeah, of course, we would like to play everywhere. Rhapsody of Fire is a band that we are ready to play anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah, and we enjoy.
Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome, Alex. So how about you, before we conclude, let's say, define Into the Legend in probably a sentence, like sum up the album into a sentence.
I want to make my brain crash. I cannot say anything. I mean, 70 music of pure enjoyment. This is what I believe, what I think.
Perfect, Alex. Thanks once again. Had a great time having a chat with you. I look forward to see you guys live in Europe, and all the best for the tours, for the album release, and everything ahead for the future.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Hope to see you and meet you.
Absolutely, Alex. You take care of yourself. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care. Bye.